Question number 16, a linear graph is given to me. Let's analyze the graph first before reading the question, because graph itself is a whole story of the question. So some company A is on the x-axis and some company B is on the y-axis, and if I check the slope, if this theta is greater than 90 degree, right, then you will find out that every time rise and run is always negative, because if when x is increasing, y is decreasing. So here's theta is greater than 90 degree and therefore the slope is negative. We have taken the first information. Let's read the question now. The graph shows the relationship between the number of shares of stock from company AX, okay, we have seen that, and the number of shares of stock from company BY that Simon can purchase. Which equation could represent this relationship? Okay. Now, this question I am going to solve with three different ways. First one is MCQ's way. How to handle multiple choice questions. Second one is like I'm going to give you a wonderful shortcut. And third one will be the traditional method by forming the equation of the line. Let's see. MCQs. There is a show Karodpati in Hindi where Amitabh Bachchan is the host. There's an option there, 50-50. Half of the options are deleted which are not in the question. So I'm going to use that here in fun. Because I can see slope is negative, sorry for that. Because I can see slope is negative. So first and third equation, if you compare it with y is equal to mx plus b, these are already deleted, right? So that means 50% of the wrong options are not there now and you have to select from B and D. Now if I go with the MCQ's options, I'll just take any of the coordinates. Let's say this is 0 and 40 and try to plug it in the equations. Let's do it in equation number B. 0 and 40, that means x has to be replaced with 0 and y has to be replaced with 40. Let's take left hand side of it. 8 times 0 plus 12 times 40, yes, it comes out to be 480, which is the right hand side. That means B is the right option. Let's check for D. 12 times 0 plus 8 times 40, that is equal to 320 and not 480. So D is not the right option. That means B is the right option. See, I have explained you this question, so maybe I have spent some time on it. But if you get this concept, this is like not more than 1 minute question for you. Second, now I'll share a wonderful shortcut with you. Our equation is y is equal to mx plus b. If this is the form, we can immediately calculate b, right? But if the equation is given in standard form, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 or is equal to 0, it works both ways. Let's try to convert it into slope intercept form. Subtract ax and c on both sides. So by is equal to negative ax minus c, right? Now because we need y, so dividing by b on both sides. Now this one is a wonderful pattern for us. Whenever we have the equation in standard form, then negative of a is the coefficient of x and b is the coefficient of y, right? So negative of coefficient of x over coefficient of y, that will be our slope. Okay, so if I check from the equation B, slope is negative a is 8, b is 12, that means negative 2 by 3. If I see equation D, it is in the standard form. So negative a by b, that means negative 3 by 2. Okay, this is a wonderful shortcut. Just try to make a rule book and write all the rules which I just usually tell you during the questions. Write them there. They're just like your best friends as a quick handout during the exam. So slope is negative 2 by 3. Now I'll go back to the question and try to calculate the slope. 1 point, the slope is negative. It's true for both B and D. So now we will do rise over run. Let's take this point and let's say this point, or let's take this point. So this coming down and this coming right. So coming down is overall 10, 30 to 20, and it's from 20 to, what is this, 35? No, okay, 15, it's 15 to 30, yes. So that is total 15. So negative 10 over 15 is the slope. So negative 2 by 3. Now I know how to calculate slope from the standard form and what is the slope in the equation or the graph by rise and run. So B is the right option. It is giving us the same slope. In linear equation, slope plays a very important role. It just answers so many questions in one go. Now let's come to the third way, which is the traditional way, and that is finding the equation, right? So it's x and y intercepts are like x intercept is 60 and 0, y intercept is 0 and 40. Let's see that 60 and 0 and 0 and 40. Now we will use the traditional way of forming the equation. Y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1, right? So let's say this is x1 y1 and this is x2 y2, and slope is y2 minus y1 0 minus 40 over x2 minus x1 60 minus 0 is equal to negative 40 over 60, or negative 2 by 3. So y1 is y minus 40 is equal to negative 3 by 2 x minus 0. Now x minus 0 is x itself, so multiplying by 3 on both sides, 3y minus 120 is equal to negative 2x, minus 0 will be 0, okay. Adding 2x on both sides, so 2x plus 3y is equal to 120. Now our equation has either 8x or 12x, so let's multiply by 4 on both sides. Okay, 4 to the 8 plus 12y is equal to 480. That is the traditional method. Now you decide. At least traditional method is not a good option. But what is your style? MCQs or shortcut? Just check your style and solve it. Believe me, making a rule book is really a good option. So please make one. Question number 17th, which expression is equivalent to? So we have to solve this one and check the right option. Okay, now let's say our question is like 12x minus 4y, right? So what we do? We take common. So 4 times 3 are the factors of 12 and 4 times 1 are the factors of 4. So you will take 4 common and left will be 3x minus y. 4 is taken common. So similarly, if you see this one, so this is term 1 and this is term 2, and we are taking common from term 1 and term 2. Similarly, in this question, this whole is term 1 and this whole is term 2, and we can see x minus 7 is a common factor as 4 is here. So we will take x minus 7 common. And what is left from term 1? 8x. And what is left from term 2? This over 2x minus 14. Now in 2x minus 14, we can see that 2 is a common factor. So instead of writing this, let's take 2 common from here. And it is 7 times 2. 2 is already taken common. So x minus 7 left. Now as you do, for example, I have 12 over 16. Because 4 is the common factor in both of these. So what we do, we divide by this. So 4 3s are 12, 4 4s are 16. Similarly, if you see x minus 7 is a common factor in both numerator as well as denominator, so we can cancel it. I can say it in two ways, dividing by 4 on both sides or just cancelling the 4, 3s are 12, 4, 4s are 16. Two ways to do that. Similarly, x minus 7 is common, so that is cancelled. So we are left with 8x minus 3 over 2. Okay, so B is the right option. See, I have cancelled it here, but maybe you are not comfortable with cancelling. If not, message me. I'll just explain you why and how it is done. Whenever you ask me a problem, I'll make a small video for that and just post it. Okay. Question number 18. The function f is defined by fx is equal to negative 8, 2 times x plus 22. What is the y-intercept? Now, these kind of questions are lottery questions. You may be thinking, is this a question even? Why it is here in SAT? So, SAT paper is like a very, SAT or any competitive exam is kind of a very balanced one. So these kind of questions where a small concept, if you know, it can be solved in seconds. So if you know that concept, you are saving your mental energy and time for the questions some questions are which need more time and more mental energy. So you are saving for those. That is why these are the questions which are necessary, though they are very easy. So y-intercept is when x is equal to 0. Let's plug it as 0. So fx is y, negative 8 times 2 times 0 plus 22. Now any number raised to power 0 is 1. So negative 8 plus 22. And if you subtract, it's 14. Y is equal to 14. Now you know why this question is given. If you think any number raised to power 0 is equal to 0, you will end up at 0, and C could be the right option for you. Now the concept is being checked here. Two concepts are checked. First is, do you know what y-intercept is? And second is, do you know if any number raised to power 0 is actually 1? So negative 8 multiplied by 1 is negative 8, right? Keenan made 32 cups of vegetable broth. Keenan then filled X small jars and Y large jars with the vegetable broth he made. The equation 3x plus 5y is equal to 32, okay, represents this situation. What is the best interpretation of y in this 5y in this context? See, before solving this question, let's see a tasty example. Let's say 5 chocolates I have to purchase. So these are chocolates, and this is the cost of one chocolate, $2, right? This one is cost. And let's say I am purchasing 7 candies, and $1 is the cost. So these are candies and this is the cost. So 5 twos are 10, $10 overall cost for this chocolate thing, and 7 ones are 7 for this candy. So total cost is $17. So you see, item plus cost, item times cost plus items times cost is equal to cost, right? Now let's see here. 3 times x plus 5 times y is equal to 32. So 32 are total cups, right? Or x are small jars, y are larger jars. So let's say 3 liters or 3 cups are for x jars and 5 cups for large jars, right? So cups times jars plus cups times jars is equal to cups. So that means this is cups and jars combination, 5 and y. Now let's see the question. The number of large jars, no. The number of small jars, no. That is x and y only. The total number of cups of vegetable broth in the larger jars. Yes, so these are jars and these are cups. So C is the right option. Question number 20th. Now this is a wonderful question one more time. First, let's do it with traditional way, and then we will see the pattern in this question. A circle in the xy plane has a diameter with endpoints 2, 4 and 2, 14. An equation of this circle is x minus 2 whole squared plus y minus 9 whole squared is equal to r squared, where r is a positive constant. What is the value of r? Now first let's do it with traditional method. Our equation is Standard equation is x minus h whole square plus y minus k whole square is equal to r square. And here the given equation is x minus 2 whole square plus y minus 9 whole square is equal to r square. We will take any of the coordinates, like let's take 2 and 4. So I'll just plug x as 2 and y as 4 is equal to r squared. So 5 squared is equal to r squared. So r is equal to 5. Now generally what we do, if r square is equal to 25, then r can be plus minus 5. But we know radius cannot be negative, so we are just saying r is equal to 5 is our value. That is one way. Now if you observe the pattern here, then you can say it's a beautiful question. Diameter endpoints are 2, 4, 2 and 14. You can see this 2 and 2 are same, x are same, right? So if you imagine it on the graph, you will not point it like this. You will point it something like this. That means when x value is same and y value is changing, that means it is like parallel to y-axis. And let's say this one is diameter. And if I compare, center is 2 and 9. So do you think if x x is same, then 9 minus 4 or 14 minus 9 absolute value is going to be the radius, which is 5, because x is not changing, so this y2 minus y1 will be the value of the radius. You may be thinking why can't it be 9 minus 14? Yes, it can be. It is always, because it's a measurement, so it's always an absolute value, so it's going to be 5 anyways. So this is a beautiful question with a wonderful pattern. Try to see patterns in the questions. Once you start doing that, you will see questions will start making much more sense. And once you start doing that, you will find out none of the paper, there is no such paper which is lengthy. It's always that you have to find something, you have to do something extra for that, right? Question number 21st. The line L is defined by 3y plus 12x is equal to 5. Line L is perpendicular, line N is perpendicular to line L in the xy plane. What is the slope of N? Okay. So concept used here is when two lines are perpendicular, if these two lines are perpendicular, then product of their slopes is -1. Or in other words, you can say that one of the slopes is negative reciprocal of the other one. Similarly, if you take m2 over m1. So either you can apply this directly, or you can use this concept that other slope is the negative reciprocal of the first one. Okay, let's see that. Now, okay, in one of the question I just explained how you can quickly find the slope from here only. Let's see the pattern. Let's say my equation is ax plus by is equal to c, right? Now if I try to convert it into slope intercept form, and that is true for every value of a and b, right? So if this equation is given in the standard form, then you can say that slope is equal to negative of coefficient of x over coefficient of y. Okay, so that means negative of coefficient of x over coefficient of y. -4 is the slope of the given line. That is the shortcut way, the wonderful way, the pattern formed way. Now if we do it with a proper way, so let's convert it into slope intercept form. 12x plus 3y is equal to 5. Subtracting 12x on both sides, plus 3y is equal to -12x plus 5, and y is equal to -12 by 3x plus 5 by 3. you will find out slope as -4. So try to learn this shortcut. This will help you to save your time here, that if the equation is given in standard form, you have to convert it into slope intercept form. You will directly do negative of coefficient of x over coefficient of y. Okay, so slope of the given line is -4. Now let's use m1 into m2 is equal to -1. It's -4. m2 is equal to -1. So m2 is equal to 1 over 4. Or you can directly use that the other slope is the negative reciprocal. So negative reciprocal. So that will be 1 by 4, right? Sometimes I take so many methods together and explain all of them. If you think it's not a good idea, just update me so that I will cover only one method per question. And if that is okay and helping you, I'm more than happy. Number 22, absolute value of -5x plus 13 is equal to 73. So what is the meaning of this absolute function? Let's say I plug in some x, right? And it comes out to be -73. So that will be 73 itself, positive. Now, if I plug in some value of x such that it comes out to be positive 73, even then it will be 73, right? So that means if I just want to write it as -5x plus 13 in, removing this absolute sign, so this 73 can be positive or it can be negative. So when we write two equations together, we just put two signs. Now let's form two equations out of it. So that can be positive 73 or that can be -73. So there will be two solutions for it. Okay, let's calculate for x. Now subtracting 13 on both sides, I'm solving the first one. So this is cancelled and -5x is equal to 60. So x is equal to -12. Now let's solve this one. Subtracting 13 on both sides. So -5x is equal to, am I right? Yes. Now dividing by -5 on both sides, it's 86 by 5. What is the sum of the solutions to the given equation? That means now we have to add it. And that is the real challenge for many children, that how to deal with fractions. Now there is one method, butterfly method, which is which is a solution for every kind of fraction. So that butterfly method is, let's learn that. -12 can be written as -12 over 1. Now numerator of the first fraction and the denominator of the second, multiply them. So -12 times 5 is -60. And then take the second pair. The numerator of the second and the denominator of first, multiply them. And in the denominator, multiply the two numbers. See, it's just looking like a butterfly. That is why it's known as a butterfly method. So that is 26 over 5. That means D is the right option. If you are not comfortable with fractions, just take butterfly method everywhere. And if it is written -5, that means it is -5 over 1. And if it is like 5 over -1, even then you can just give this sign to the numerator, right? So use this. I hope addition and subtraction of fractions will be easier with this. Okay. Question number 23. For the exponential function f, the value of f of 1 is k. Okay. Exponential function. Exponential function is y is equal to ab to the power x, or f of x is equal to ab to the power x. Now the question is giving us the condition that input is 1. So that means f of 1 is equal to a b and f of 1 is k is equal to ab. Let's see it's used in the question or not, but that was just the explanation of the exponential equation. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function f shows the value of k as the coefficient or the base? See, you must have seen this question many times in SAT exam. First, let's understand what is the meaning of this. So, you have to choose an equation. When you solve it by giving the input as 1, so value of k should be there either in this like a or in b value. So it should appear in the equation itself. That is the meaning of this statement. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function shows that the value of k as a coefficient or the base? So this is the coefficient or this is the base. Let's see. If I use the first equation, remember we have to give input as first. So let's solve a, right? So f of 1 is equal to 50 times 1.6 raised to power 1 plus 1 2, and k is actually the product of these, which will neither be 50 nor be 1.6, and that is the condition. So a is not the right option. Let's solve for b. Now b is f of 1 is equal to 80 times 1.60 raised to power 1. So k will be the product of these two. It will be neither 80 nor 1.6. So even b is not the right option. Now let's come for c. F of 1 is equal to 128, 1.6, 1 minus 1, 0. So f of 1 is k, 1.6 raised to power 0 is 1, 128. So here k is the value 128, which is present in the equation itself in the form of coefficient. So that means C is the right option, right? Try to understand the meaning of the statement given in the question. Number 24, negative 9x squared plus 30x plus c is equal to 0. In the given equation, c is a constant. The equation has exactly one solution. What is the value of c? See, if I have to solve this question only, then I'll just cram a formula that whenever it has exactly one solution, then d is equal to 0. So let's solve this question first, and then we will try to understand why this condition exists. Because quadratic equations are really beautiful, and they have many such wonderful patterns. Okay, let's solve it first. D is equal to 0, and D is discriminant. That means b squared minus 4ac should be equal to 0. So b is 30. 30 squared negative minus 4 times a is actually negative 9, and c is equal to 0. So 900 plus 36c is equal to 0. 36c is equal to negative 900. So dividing by 36 on both sides, okay. C is equal to negative 25. We have already solved the question. If you are if you just learn the formulas and do it, it's done. But if you want to try to understand why this happens, so let's expand it a little bit more. Just pause the video and write the solution, because now I am going to explain the reason. Okay. Now if we see the quadratic formula, values of x are actually negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. Now this b square minus 4ac is actually known as discriminant, right? Just imagine if this is equal to 0, right? B square minus 4ac is equal to 0. That means d is equal to 0. So that means this whole part is gone, right? So negative b, no plus minus 0 over 2a. So there is only one solution. That is the very reason that when we have one solution, we put d is equal to 0. Now let's see this b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. That means it is some positive value. Let's change the color here. This b squared minus 4ac is some positive value. That means it is greater than 0. So that means d is greater than 0. So in that case, this will give you two solutions which will be real. So when d is greater than 0, these are real roots, right? Both the roots are real. Now when d is smaller than 0, okay, let's change the color once again. D is smaller than 0. So just imagine if this d is smaller than 0, that is not a real number. Then the roots will not be real. So when d is equal to 0, the roots are definitely 2, but solution is 1. So, and when d is greater than 0, you will have two solutions. And when d is less than 0, then there will be no real solution. There must be the word real solutions, right? So, when d is smaller than 0, no real solutions. That is the reason for it. Try to understand the reason behind it, because it's just a one question, right? But it can be framed in many different ways. So if you know the concept of discriminant, you will be able to apply it and solve any type of question you are going to see, right? Number 25, I can see this question is repeated many times in many bundles. Okay, let's understand. Which of the following expression has a factor of x plus 2b where b is a positive integer constant? Okay, now if I just want to factorize it, let's say 3x squared plus 7x plus 14b, right? And its factors are 3x plus 7 and x plus 2b, right? Okay, now we have to guess the value of b. Now, if I just multiply the two equations, 3x, x plus 2b, and plus 7, x plus 2b, so this is 3x squared plus 3 to the 6 bx plus 7x plus 14b, and 3x squared plus, if you take x common, the opposite of distributive property, plus 7 plus 14b. Now, why I have done this? Because 14b is everywhere. 3x squared is also in all the equations. Now this 7 plus 6b or 6b plus 7 can be 7, 28, 42 or 49. So we have to check from the options which is the most suitable one for this. Okay, so 7 plus 6b can be 7, 28, 42 and 49 can be equal to 7 or 28 or 42 or 49. So if I, okay, let's write all of these. Now if I take the first one, so that means subtracting 7 on both sides, 6b is equal to 0. So b is equal to 0. Now if I solve the second one, so 6b is equal to 21, and this implies that b is equal to 21 by 6. If I solve the third one, subtracting 7 on both sides, 6b is equal to 35. This implies that b is equal to 35 by 6. And if I solve the fourth one, then 6b is equal to 42, and this implies that b is equal to 7. So this is the only value which is giving me an integer. We need b as a positive integer. So that means here options are helping me to find out that when coefficient of x is 49, b is a positive integer. So that means d is the right option. Now let me tell you, I am using this sign in between. What is the meaning of this sign? Let's take this as equation 1. Now this is an equation, right? And I am using single line to write all of these. Or even if I use different lines, I cannot put equal to sign here because this is already a part of the equation. So this sign is known as this implies that. If 7 plus 6b is equal to 7, this implies that 6b is equal to 0 or b is equal to 0. I'm just solving the equation and this is the next step, right? Practice this question many times. Maybe uh, again you will find patterns, because every time I solve the questions I always say try to see the patterns, try to see the patterns, try to see the concept, because these are the real hero in the questions. Number 26 from statistics. Two data sets are given. Data set A and data set B. Integers and frequency. Okay, if we just analyze the pattern, so you can see 20 to 30 is 3, 30 to 40 is 4, 40 to 50 is 7, and that is 9. Okay, and this one too, it's 3 and 4 and 7 and 9. So that means frequency is same, but in this is different, 10 to 20, 30 to 40. Okay, now let's see the question. Two data sets of 23 integers each are summarized in the histogram shown. For each of the histograms, the first interval represents the frequency of integers greater than or equal to 10 but less than 20. Now, because this is about integer, so that means this first one is 10 to 19. Second one is 20 to 29 and so on. That means this number 20, which is the last one, for example, I am saying 10 to 20. So 20 will be counted in the next one. This is what is the meaning of this. Okay. The second interval represents the frequency of integers greater than or equal to 20 but less than 30 and so on. Okay. What is the smallest possible difference between the mean of data set A and the mean of data set B? Okay. Now we have to go back to the question. So 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9, there are 23 integers. Now if I try to find the mean of the first one, right, it's from 20 to 30. That means 20 is included. So 3 times 20 plus 4 times 30 plus 7 times 40 plus 9 times 50 over 23. Oh, okay. Let's write the formula for mean first. So mean is actually xi times fi, sum of all of them over sum of all the frequencies, right? Okay, so 3 times 20 plus 4 times 30. Okay, let's write the mean of data set A, that is equal to 3 times 20 plus 4 times 30 plus 7 times 40 plus 9 times 50 over sum is 23. Now if I go with the other one and I want to cover this 20, so it will be till 19 as per the question. So 3 times 19, 4 times 29, 7 times 39 and 9 times 49. Okay, right. So second mean is mean of data set B is equal to 3 times 19 plus 4 times 29 plus 7 times 39 plus 9 times 49 by 23. I think calculator is allowed, right? So if you calculate the mean of the both the datas and you have to find m of A minus m of B. So if you use the calculator, it's equal to 1. But let's see what if the calculator is not allowed and we have to understand the question. So m of A minus m of B is 3 times 20 plus 4 times 30 plus 7 times 40 plus 9 times 50 over 23 minus 3 times 19. Oh, I can see a pattern. 7 times 39 plus 9 times 49 over 23. So if I just combine this and this, right? So that will be 3, 20 minus 19 plus 4, 30 minus 29 plus 7, 40 minus 39. You can use the calculator. I'm just, exploring this because I can see a pattern, and when I see a pattern, it's really interesting. So it's 23. Every time this difference is 1. So we will end up at 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 9, which is 23 by 23, which is equal to 1. So the difference of the mean is 1 and B is the right option. But if you want to use the calculator, just use the calculator, put the values over here, and the difference will be 1. I have calculated it through concept. Interesting question. Okay. Number 27, the perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 624 centimeters. The height of this triangle is k root 3 centimeters. Where k is a constant, what is the value of k? Okay. Now, first let's understand the equilateral triangle first. It is a very beautiful symmetrical kind of triangle, and many properties are they themselves tell us the answer. Let's say that is ABC is an equilateral triangle, and I just draw a height over here. Now, if it is an equilateral triangle and I am drawing a perpendicular from any of the vertex, it bisects the angle as well as it bisects the side. That is a very important property. And if you apply this property, you will always end up at 60, 30, 90 triangle. Now, if you are very much comfortable with 30, 60, 90 triangle, so its sides are like this way. So 60, 30 and 90. Oh, this is angle 90, my bad. So this will be 2a, whatever is the measurement. This will be a and this will be root 3a. This is the ratio of sides, right? Okay, let's say this is 2a here, this is root 3a, and this one is a according to this because it bisects. Leave it here. Perimeter of equilateral triangle. Now if I am letting the side as 2a, this will be 2a and this third will be 2a. So sum is 2a plus 2a plus 2a, which is 6 of a, is equal to 624. Now if you calculate a, 624 divided by 6, which is 108, right? We have solved our question. 108 is the value of a and this is the height, right? So that means height is, if root 3a, that means it is 108 root 3. So value, or according to question, it is k root 3. So that means k is equal to 108. Again, an interesting question. I hope you get that.